Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick, and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the world of Cardano, taking a look at the price action to see what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you'll be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. So why not go ahead and check that out today? And on that discussion, if you are looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, why not check out the Patreon services in the description below? We cover a lot more for our Patreon members in Discord. So if that is your bag, why not go ahead and check that out? Okay, let's waste no more time. Let's jump right down into this, right? So Cardano paired up with USDT. This is the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. And we are actually currently tracking this kind of fourth wave right here at the moment, okay? And there's a theoretical kind of top. So far, we've hit 52 cents exactly here, and that has been our top. Now, there's no guarantee that that's completely done, and, we could, continue to go up a little bit higher. That is definitely possible. However, there is a limit on this, right? Because we're at 53.59, it would invalidate the fifth wave coming down lower, at least under this impulsive structure. We could still have 5-wave count with a slight overlap between wave 4 and wave 1, but that's more of a diagonal than this impulsive structure. So it could be a leading diagonal, something to that effect, but I would like to see just stay below 53.59. It simplifies things ever so slightly there. So we are in this fourth wave at the moment. Now, if we actually go ahead and zoom in on this, okay, because I think there's a couple of things worth noting. Right down here, we actually have a double bottom that was created, okay? So if I actually grab hold of this and I run it on here, you can see that this is at 43.66, and this particular wick right here comes down to 43.69, so ever so slightly higher. This one is lower on the left hand side by 0.003 points, okay, so really minor detail, but basically effectively it created that double bottom. So when we take a look at this and we start thinking about what this might look like, you end up with this structure right here. This could quite easily be completed, and now we are finally working our way down into the fifth wave, right? But we won't be able to confirm any of this just yet, but essentially that is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this may have actually now finished with this move here. We've pulled back down lower than the W wave at the moment as well, so it's possible we push up, but for now I think that's pretty much where I think the limit is. Now if we take a look at the stochastic, you can see this hourly chart as kind of pulling back down a little bit here. Hasn't really moved down too much, and the 4 hourly is all the way up in the overbought area now as well. So when we take a look at those, even the 8 hour now is just out of the oversold area, so again could pull back down quite comfortably. So for the most part, we could now be looking at the next little leg, which is this fifth wave coming down. Now this small fifth wave move at the moment is tracking approximately between these two zones, 39.19 and 41.90, okay? At this point, I would expect some kind of significant bounce to the upside to be had, okay? So once this is done, I would expect there to be some kind of bouncing activity to happen, and basically we can kind of move back up. We might touch on some of these higher ranges. That much we won't know until we actually get to that point, but basically we should pull down, then we should bounce, and all of that there would basically mark an end of a potential A wave. Now, this is where we go into the world of speculation a little bit here, because it is possible that what we end up with is a zigzag structure, okay, which is basically a 5-3-5 structure. It is also possible that it's just a 5-wave structure and that's that done. However, considering the depths that I'm expecting things to go to, although it has held up quite well at the moment, I would be cautious until we kind of break out. They would have to go up higher than this high original position of our wave one. So if I actually go ahead and grab hold of that, right? So we were talking about going higher than 68.9. Okay, so if we can go higher than that, then effectively there is no zigzag. Okay, so then the kind of bounce from these lows of 39 to 41 cent, this little yellow box that I just drew on, is going to be really important, because if we can push up high enough, then we can invalidate any further downside. The downside currently looking and tracking at approximately 22.3 cent, so significantly lower, but I spoke about this the other day, and I do expect basically these key areas right in here, anywhere really between 34 and 28 cent to be kind of the key areas for us, as this is going to be the 618, the 702, and the 786 Fibonacci retracement areas. And if we actually zoom out into our 4 hour and we move over, we can see that this basically, if I actually grab hold of my yellow box, you can see here we have a lot of resistance in this area as well. So this could turn into support for us on that journey to the downside. So the zigzag here could be, you know, held at any of those levels. So I'd be quite cautious on this. We'll let the subwave counts ultimately dictate where things actually land. But for the most part, I am seeing more room to the downside than I am to the upside at this particular stage. So I'm a little bit pessimistic, but, you know, I would quite happily see this thing reverse back up as well and, you know, start decent kind of traction. But until really we've kind of seen the bottom coming in for Bitcoin and for these alts, and they complete their patterns, you know, for now, yeah, we'll just be looking at the downside in my personal opinion. Now, once all that is done, if we come up into our daily chart here, you know, essentially this entire correction would be over, and then we can start to talk about progression back to the upside after this very, very deep. And, you know, it's coming in, it would come in at about 92.8% from the all-time high. And then we basically will be looking for good structure to come on out of here. Now, in an ideal world, we'd want this to kind of be another 5-wave structure to the upside, okay? And in an ideal world, this would be taking us obviously up into new all-time highs and all that kind of good stuff. But, you know, if we could actually have this as a start of a multi-year, multi-cycle 5-wave structure, then this could be a third wave, which would be really, really intense, right? It should be very, very significant. So if we were to think of this high point of $3.10, I think, yeah, $3.10, down to our March 2020 lows, that being our entire kind of 5-wave structure, this correction coming down to 22 cent, we could potentially be looking at some very, very significant numbers moving on up here. Now, I wouldn't be thinking that we're going to go up into hundreds and hundreds of dollars or anything like that, although possible. I wouldn't necessarily think they are probable, but here you can see I have already pre-marked out with this little yellow box areas that I would be really focused in on, and this is basically the 618, the 786, and, you know, arguably maybe even going up higher to the 1-to-1 ratio. But for now, you know, we are looking at pretty decent levels, even just at the 618, 702, 786, tracking between $5.40 and $13. Moving up to the 1-to-1 ratio would put us at about $39.31. So again, that would be very, very, very lucrative if we were to see this as a zigzag pattern playing us out here with a 5-wave structure. So, for example, we were talking about the zigzag taking us down to 22 cent. That's a really small version. Think of this as a much larger version. But basically, you'd end up with this potential. Actually, it's really bad. Let me draw that out again. So we'd have it like something like this, right? And you could see a 1-to-1 ratio would put that really, really nicely up there. And the gains on that would be very, very significant from these lows. So keep these things in mind. You know, 5 waves on their own can happen, but they usually are not isolated. And if we are talking about spanning multiple years, then, you know, we could look for a 5-wave structure to follow this 3-wave structure that's down. That would complete an ABC structure overall, which is often known as a zigzag pattern. And you could see how that could potentially get us up to the 1-to-1 ratio of about 39.31. And that would be very, very lucrative gains for Cardano. Now, obviously, this is just pure speculation. You'll be talking about 17,000%, which isn't unheard of. We've already tracked massively in the first 5-wave move from the March 2020 lows up to the $3.10 level. Was 17,864. So again, we're talking very, very similar numbers. It should be exactly the same in theory, because it is 100% of that move just transposed over to that side. So very, very good gains could potentially be had here as we start thinking about where the bottoms are and how high we could potentially push afterwards. So yeah, I'm going to leave the video there, guys. A little bit of speculation at the end. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with absolutely everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.